A very big hello to my dear students of 10th standard. Today we'll be doing a new poem, The Stolen Boat by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth is considered one of the greatest poets of English literature. He was an English romantic poet. This poem is an extract from Book 1 of William's great philosophical poem, The Prelude. In this poem, The Stolen Boat, the poet is telling his experience of his early boyhood days. This incident in his childhood had taught him a lesson and also strengthened his relationship with nature. We'll read the first stanza. One summer evening, led by her, I found a little boat tied to a willow tree within a rocky cave, its usual home. Straight I unloosed her chain and stepping in, pushed from the shore. We'll see the meanings over here. Willow tree, a tree that grows near water and has thin, flexible branches. As you can see in the picture, that is a willow tree. Now here what the poet is saying is, on a summer evening, the poet, who was a young boy then, found a little boat in a rocky cave tied to a willow tree. He unloosed the chain and stepped in the boat and took it for a joy ride. Yes, we'll read the next stanza. It was an act of stealth and troubled pleasure, nor without the voice of mountain echoes did my boat move on, leaving behind her still, on either side, small circles glittering idly in the moon, until they melted all into one track of sparkling light. We'll see the meanings here. Stealth, doing something quietly and carefully so that no one will notice. Yes, we'll understand this stanza. Now this boy who took that boat, okay, it was that act of his was the act of stealth. Okay, he had done this quietly so that no one would notice. So it was an act of stealing, and he knew it. His guilt was mixed with the feeling of pleasure, troubled pleasure. Yes, his boat moved, accompanied with the echoes of the mountain. The reflection of the moon left a trail of light on the surface of water. Yes, we'll read the next stanza. But now, like one who rose, proud of his skill to reach a chosen point, with an unswerving line, I fixed my view upon the summit of a craggy ridge. The horizon's utmost boundary far above was nothing but the stars and the grey sky. She was an elfin pinnace. Lustily I dipped my oars into the silent lake, and as I rose upon the stroke, my boat went heaving through the water like a swan. Meaning unswerving, constant, summit, top, craggy ridge, a sharp, narrow, elevated part found in rugged mountains. Elfin pinnace, a small fairy-like boat, heaving, rising up. Now this boy, he's saying he's proud of his rowing skill. So being proud of his rowing skill, he sailed from the shore and kept his eyes fixed on the horizon, which comprised a top of the craggy ridge, the stars and grey sky. And he praises the stolen boat and calls it an elfin pinnace. As he rows, the boat goes heaving through the water gracefully, just like a swan. So he's comparing his boat to a swan. When from behind that craggy steep till then, the horizon's bound, a huge pig, black and huge, as if with voluntary power instinct, upreared its head. I struck and struck again, and growing still in stature, the grim shape towered up between me and the stars, and still, for so it seemed, with purpose of its own and measured motion like a living thing, strode after me. The meanings: upreared, raised up, stature, height, grim, frightful, strode, walked with long steps. The boy, he took the boat and he's sailing in the waters. Then suddenly a huge mountain peak upreared or raised its head. As the boy kept rowing, the mountain grew in height and frightful shape. It stood between him and the stars. It seemed as if the mountain was chasing the poet, just like a human being walking with long steps. Now here the mountain is personified and given the human quality. Yes, we'll read this stanza. With trembling oars I turned, and through the silent water stole my way back to the covert of the willow tree. There, in a mooring place, I left my bark, and through the meadows homeward went in grave and serious mood. The meanings: covert, hidden place; mooring place, place of shelter where the boat is usually tied for safety; bark, yeah, bark means boat. Yes, so the poet thought, that little boy thought, that the mountain is following him, chasing him. So he was scared of this huge black peak. He rowed the boat with trembling hands. He turned and went back to the hidden place of the willow tree and left the boat where it was, in the mooring place. That is the shelter place of the boat. And then he returned home with a heavy heart and serious mood. Yes, we'll read the last stanza. But after I had seen that spectacle for many days, my brain worked with a dim and undetermined sense of unknown modes of being over my thoughts. There hung a darkness, call it solitude or blank desertion. No familiar shapes remained, no pleasant images of trees, of sea or sky, no colors of green fields, but huge and mighty forms that do not live like living men moved slowly through the mind by day and were a trouble to my dreams. You'll see the meanings. Spectacle, sight; solitude, loneliness; blank desertion, devoid of thought, that is lack of thought. Yes, for a long time after that experience, after that incident, the boy was disturbed. He used to have nightmares of unknown modes of being, like a living being, yet different from living beings. He used to experience solitude, that is loneliness, and devoid of thought. He couldn't think clearly. There were no familiar shapes or pleasant images of trees, of sea or sky, but only huge and mighty forms which moved slowly through his mind by day and troubled him in his dreams. Thus, a simple act of mischief turns out to be a nightmare for the young boy. Yes, dear students, here in this poem, the start of the poem, we see that the poet derives immense pleasure while rowing the boat. At the same time, he gets anxious because he feels that he has done a dishonest act by stealing a boat. His conscience brings in him guilty feeling. The boy feels that the huge black peak wants to teach him a lesson. Now here the grim shape can be interpreted as the poet's conscience at having stolen the boat, and nature can be interpreted as a teacher, yeah, making him understand that the act done by him was not a good one. The poet talks in this poem about his personal experience with great honesty and sincerity, and he tries to extract a moral from it. If we do anything wicked, we will be punished by nature. So dear students, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, press the like button, share, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more videos. Happy learning!